You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show.
All right, gang is all here officially now that Julz is in the house. I am Kristyn Burtt, and we're here for another episode of Dancing with the Stars here on AFTERBUZZ TV. It is week 2, lots of controversies, lots of things to talk about, but let's introduce all my co-hosts. To my left, Anna Trebunskaya.
Hi, everybody.
With the cutest baby in the world. Actually, there's 2 cute babies.
So yes, we've been baby sharing.
Baby boy, baby girl, I love it. To further away from me, but on my left also, Suri Serano.
Hello, everybody.
He's been 1 minute away for the last 20 minutes, Julz Tocker.
What's up? Sorry, my bad. Traffic's terrible.
But your hair looks good, that's all that matters.
Didn't even do anything. Boom. Do I? Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
that's good.
It was that shower that you took that
yeah.
made you late. But thanks for the shower.
Excellent.
We appreciate
Let's introduce our guest, you guys.
Yeah.
Let's not be rude, right? All right.
No.
Well, season 3 and 4 pro. She's worked with Charlie and Meryl, so I hope to get lots of insight from you.
Yeah.
Of course. Now I'm gonna call you Grinia, but it's
Sure.
in the
Grinia
American
is good.
version. Everyone goes what? Elena Grinenko.
I guess so, yeah,
But
the
what's the
official-
real version of
The
your
way
name?
I say it?
Yeah.
Elena Grinenko.
There you go. Sounds much better, doesn't it? Coming out of your mouth versus ours. We're so excited to have you here because you're going to offer a lot of insight. And I think Charlie and Meryl have been kind of like some of the biggest contestants we've been watching this season, even though it's only week 2, but a lot of talk. Definitely. And we're going to kick it off with the opening number. Again, it was Mandy Moore, but I have to say, I liked it better because it had a little more pizzazz than last week. What did you guys think?
So much better.
Yes.
It actually, last Monday felt like that was the opening, that was the premiere show.
I agree with you on that.
It was much more wow and bang versus the first week.
And the costumes were better.
They were.
Right?
I definitely like this number a lot better. And my little favorite part, which I told you before, was the small group male number with Derek in front and Mark.
Yeah.
That was so
That
good.
was hot.
What do you think, Julz?
I enjoyed last week. I said I liked last week's opening as well, and this week I loved it just as much. To be honest, again, she always delivers awesome routines and all the different groups and different sections and stuff. I really enjoyed. So
I love Mandy Moore. I love her choreography. What did you think of the opening number? Did you see last week's too?
You just guys love everybody.
Not
actually,
yet.
when I watched it yesterday, I was like, wow, they're really going full on with all those pro numbers in the beginning. So
Yeah.
actually, I was quite impressed. So that they did it first week, and now they did it even better second week. So I hope they can keep it up.
And some of the guys were saying like actually they felt this week was easier.
Interesting.
They're like, opening's easy this week. So yeah, it's interesting to hear some
Maybe because
feedback.
they used more of the set and everyone was in different
Right.
sections.
Different
Maybe
parts.
it's broken up a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was in studio this week? Did you see the
No,
show
I
live?
I wasn't there this week.
You
No.
didn't see the show? I just
Next
wanted to
week
see.
I will.
All right, I'm going next week too. So
Cool.
I always like to know who was there live because
Sure.
it's a different perspective.
Completely.
For sure.
It is.
We kick off the show, and I was not happy with this, with the surprise of double elimination. And you could see the surprise on all the pros' face. For all of you that's been on the show, what does that bring in terms of nerves to your celebs?
It sucks.
Crap.
I think it's unfair. It's almost unfair because it's like, what, we lose a week now.
Well, pretty much it's like if you have a celebrity that is on the lower end with the judges, you're like right at the beginning of the show, you're like, hey, they could be us. We might not even get a chance to even dance. Like, we've been practicing for a whole week, and now are we even gonna have a chance? Because in the past they wouldn't, let people. They just go, okay.
And you lose
go.
2 journeys. You don't lose just one person, but another person doesn't get to grow into the next week. And I mean, right away you think Sean's going, or Billy D. Williams is going, or Diana's going. I think that was kind of the consensus.
Yeah, we all kind of
3.
thought that. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, and I just think I just was like, it's kind of a stinker way to start the show, and they also didn't know their dance order. What would you do if like you didn't know your dance order with the celeb?
Or yeah, dance order is not good, but as far as the double elimination on the second week, I would rather, I guess, take that than when I danced with Tocker, I just got eliminated on the first week, and that's it. Bye. So I would rather dance at least twice and then get eliminated, so you feel you at least participated in the show.
That's true.
But not knowing the order, I'm sure it's extremely nerve-wracking.
They're shaking up the season, and I know it's like it sucks going to one time, but at the same time, hey, we're all talking about it, and everyone's talking about it, and it's adding drama and something different to the show, which I think it needs.
For me, I obviously I was not a fan at all. I was actually pretty upset about it, to be honest.
Did you have a moment? Did you? Have a moment?
I did. I had several
okay?
moments, and we will be discussing them.
Well, we're here for you, okay?
Well, thank you very much. Obviously we kind of had an idea of who was going to go. The Sean Avery thing, obviously, very much threw me. I don't think he should have gone. That's a whole nother thing. It's clearly it was just done for TV, but then, like you said, Kristyn, we miss out on somebody that could really normally would have gone through something. He probably would have been around maybe for the next few weeks, and that would have been great to see.
And I would have loved to see him do ballroom. Sorry, I would have loved to see him do ballroom. A bit of ballroom, because he'll be quite strong at that. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah,
we never
just
saw that.
done purely for TV, and that's it.
And do you think it was done for the switch up? Because if they did the switch up, it was an uneven number. So if you do the double elimination, then the couples remain even.
Perhaps.
Because this whole switch up, and you can only vote on Twitter, that has people. And my Twitter feed right now is just like Meryl and Derek. Like that's all it says, because everyone's voting for the next week.
Right.
You see
Right.
what's
Well,
happening.
it doesn't matter.
It's a bummer.
You can vote. I'm sure you can vote for this. Let's say Karina got eliminated, or Henry, but I'm sure you can still vote for Henry to be paired up with
Sure.
whoever.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Will they bring back eliminated pros? That's the big question.
They should.
Be kind of
Because the two eliminated pros are probably one of the best dancers that are on the show at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like to see him back.
Anna.
See what happens.
That's a statement.
But they are amazing. They're amazing dancers.
They
Yeah,
both
for
are.
sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, let's kick it off with our first dances of the night. Drew and Cheryl did the jive, and the one thing I wanted to say, I love that Drew pointed this out. He does a live show with Price is Right all the time. He tapes it live. It's live to tape. So he feels like he's in his element. He feels very comfortable. The dance obviously is not his comfort level, but I thought they did pretty well. What did you think?
I'm honestly surprised with him. Like when I heard that he's gonna be on the show, first of all, I didn't know he lost that much weight, before the show, and then even after losing it, you would think, I would never actually expect the way he danced his jive, and I was like, oh, he chose the jive. Oh no, and I don't know. I thought he did fun. I mean, it was a great routine.
He's always going to perform it.
Yeah,
and
exactly. He has this performance.
The showmanship. It's like, boom, when he's on, he's on. That's what I loved about it.
And now I want to ask Suri, because this was not her favorite couple last week. It was her least
wasn't.
favorite. So what
It
did
was
you think?
my least
week
favorite.
2?
I found it very likable and fun, and I'm more. I find him more endearing as time has gone on. So no, they were not my least favorite couple this week.
Good. Okay.
That's already an improvement.
It is.
Well, again, showmanship, amazing. Was there a lot of jive?
There's a lot of
Not
connection stuff
really.
though. A lot of connection. Not so much kicks and flicks,
There
but
was,
they
like-
did a little bit of stuff.
There's like a lot of boogie woogie,
More than some
swing
others.
and swivels.
But
More
let me
than
ask
some
you.
others.
I know who you're talking
Let
about.
me ask you a question. Is there a lot of anything in any dances anymore?
Very
That's
good.
a question.
That's a
I
great
said we
point.
needed that
Some of
rule
them,
of X amount of
right?
bars of actual choreography
I
per dance.
agree.
There needs to be something put in there like that.
Yeah, so there's a standard to be held up, and then the
Yeah.
judging is more even. And we
Correct.
talk a lot about content on this show, and it does get frustrating when I ask for your expertise, and it's like, how much content did you guys see? And it's like,
And like, there was a comment by Len that someone broke hold, but then last week, Peter and James broke hold for their Foxtrot, and then he's giving someone bad marks for breaking hold again. I'm like, well, where is the line? Where's the line, Len? Show us the line.
Oh, this never ends. That never ends.
Suri and I have been
It's
together since season
ongoing.
15, and we're still talking about the same thing.
Everybody's judged individually.
Yeah.
It just that's all it is.
Yeah. He wound up with 7s, and this was kind of the 7 show. Again,
seven,
the 7, 7,
sevens,
7,
yeah.
21. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the cleanest performer going all the way through the season, but he did a good job.
Enjoyed it.
Yep. We go to Danica and Val doing the samba. And I liked in the package that Val felt a little bit his need to be challenged. She realized, like, I need to step up my game if I've got Danica. So how do we think he did with choreography in the second week?
I personally, I actually really enjoyed the samba. It was more of a competitive take on it rather than just show. So I enjoyed seeing samba elements. Yes.
Yeah.
Good
For me,
samba
definitely,
rolls.
yeah. A lot of samba proper stuff in there, and it was really cool to see. Maybe she was challenged. I thought she was challenged. And some things, lines and arms and bits and pieces,
Yeah, a
not
lot
quite
of
there.
arms.
But that's okay. The second week, I'm going to enjoy seeing her developing and get better each week. So definitely good job by Val for me.
I remember how the first week she said that she's not comfortable she's not a sexy per se woman. She's kind of dorky, nerdy woman, and she's like, I want to be sexy. She was definitely working her sexy.
That was.
From the opening as well. Boom! It was like hot to
Yeah.
trot.
She was.
It's a little bit still not quite coordinated sexy. So it's still like, yeah, I know you're trying to be sexy, but it's like you're still working on it, which is weird. Like you have to work on being sexy, but you kind of have to.
Right.
Coordinate your sexy.
Sexy girl.
Yes, with you eat.
I kind of feel, for me, I enjoyed it. She looked beautiful. It was like at 50% for me. I don't know how to.
It could have been
I don't know how
amped
to
a little bit
explain
more.
it.
Yeah.
Like it's just because she just needs more time. That's the feeling I have.
I honestly think you don't need to challenge somebody on the week 2. I mean, you just do a good choreography, make it done nicely. I mean, I love Val personally. I think he's an amazing dancer.
Sure.
And the choreography was great as far as the samba, but I don't think you need to do that on the week 2. Because if you do it too much, then you're running a risk of that person not coping with that and getting eliminated in the week 2 when she has so much potential to be a father.
Sure.
But then, as a choreographer, Val is so good. He can tell along the week if she's having a hard time and pull back and change things. I mean, right? I mean, that's what you do as a choreographer. You can kind of tell if somebody's struggling.
Changing things sometimes confuses them because they, in my opinion, they don't really learn how to dance. They learn this specific routine.
Sure.
And
Yes.
if you suddenly change the order, they panic.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That can
'cause
be,
versus
depending
working with
on who you're
dancers,
with.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
If you're with Meryl, she's going to be fine, or Charlie, they're probably going to be fine. They understand that.
But she's really number smart.
She's number smart. She has
Maybe.
had some ballroom lessons,
Yeah,
a couple
I
here
don't
and
know.
there.
And then you never know what the judge is going to say. Well, we wanted to see you being pushed a bit more this week because we know you can put your left foot in front of your right. So then you've got that sometimes in the back of your head going, well, I'm going to make sure they're going to see a little bit of something more maybe as well. So yeah, it's balancing all the elements.
But I also think it comes down to Val being such a great dancer and also being quite
yeah.
an ambitious teacher and performer. And he's like, okay, we have this chick, we have this dude, we have this chick, and then this person. It's like, I want to step it up. So I think it's probably coming from him too.
Yeah.
Feels the pressure too.
Yeah.
The one interesting thing is I thought she did better on some of the more technical or difficult elements, and then some of the basic things with her arms. I was like, what the heck is these weird little arms? So he needs to do a little bit of cleanup with her, which is interesting because it seems like she can handle the more difficult steps.
I say the more difficult, the easier it is. Because the
Sometimes.
slower, the simpler things are the harder to sell. Because
And make it
they're
look
less,
beautiful.
They're less impressive, and you need to really work on make people, like if you stand for 8 counts and somebody looks at you and goes, oh, that was amazing. It's very hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you move 25 steps in those 8 counts,
Exactly.
that'd be impressive always.
Good point. That's a really good point.
That's why we have her here.
I love it. See, we need this. We need the feedback from you guys. Straight 8s, 24.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Well
Good.
deserved.
Agreed.
And then we go to Emma and Billy D. Williams doing the tango. Go.
Yes, please. I want to talk about the package before we talk about the dance because maybe I was just being extra emotional this week, but
Maybe.
Emma made me cry in the package because we know her, and she was so sad at the thought of him not enjoying himself
Or feeling
and
old.
feeling old and feeling the way he was feeling, and I just lost it. I was like, this is awful. Oh my god, I feel for him and her.
And I think one of the greatest things about Emma, and we saw this last season also with Bill, is that she feels for her partner. She wants to be there. And I think that's why she always has a great rapport with her partners.
Yeah, and it's you want, I'm sure you want them to have an amazing time. To see that was
Enjoy
just
the journey.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So she choreographs with what she can do, and she brought in a couple of the troupe dancers. We saw Jenna and we saw Lindsay. And hey, what guy doesn't want beautiful women around him?
Exactly.
Right.
It's kind of a fun distraction. What did you guys think? Julz, I'll start with you.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. All I'm going to say is that I know that this is not easy. And anything to make him more comfortable and enjoy his journey is what she's trying to do. And she's doing a damn good job at doing it. and I love Em to bits, and she definitely wants the best for every single person she meets in her life. Everyone.
Yeah, she's got a good heart.
The biggest and most beautiful heart ever. So, look, she did what she could, and I can't really say more.
I know. How do you criticize?
It's hard.
How do you?
No, I mean, clearly they were brought in for help and for the overall effect, and it worked. It worked. It was fun and enjoyable.
It was definitely better than last week.
You're right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the theme.
Yeah, in the end of the day, you gotta judge the dancing, and at that point, it doesn't matter whether you're 10 or 76. You're in the same competition. You have to choose. So
That's where the 5 came out.
Another 5. I know. I just feel bad.
The 5s, but you know what? Honestly, with all the seasons we've watched and all the scoring, really with the 5s, like you couldn't give him 6s, knowing that it's still going to be low. I mean, really? After all the gifts we've seen,
listen, they have 2s over there. They have 2s, so 5 is actually in the middle of the pack.
I mean,
we all know what we're judging. They're judging. You know what I mean? And there's so many 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s that are given as gifts. So I don't know.
That is true. And the one thing, and Len was like, I want more attack, and I'm like, we're not going to get it from him. He's not the attack dancer.
Heart attack? I mean, we got to be careful. No, but seriously, you've got to be careful with this. I mean,
so
people's
sweet.
beautiful person. You've got to be careful. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Len, but maybe it's a little bit much, mate.
Find it in your heart to give him a 6. That's what I say.
Do you even have a heart, Len?
You know how they did at some point? They made Tom and Samantha dance. It was like the first or second season.
Yeah.
I think they should make judges dance, and we judge them.
Yes. I will judge him. Watch
What do
me
you
judge.
think? What do you think?
Oh my
That
god.
It would be
very
hilarious.
interesting.
I would love that.
And you let all the pros judge them.
Oh, no, they would. Oh, God.
There'd be some payback.
That would be a good special week.
All right, let's move on to Max and Meryl doing swing. And I'm going to start right off with you because, I mean, give us some background on what it's like to work with Meryl. What's she like when you're rehearsing with her? What's she like on ice? What's she like in the studio? Because
And the background how to work with Max too.
That's right.
You guys want
No,
too
this is
much.
all for you.
I'm leaving.
I have so many comments for that.
For those
what
who
you
don't-
just said, but
Yeah,
I'm not
for
gonna
those who don't know, Elena was a professional dancer with partner with Max for 2-3 years.
For like 4.5.
Oh my gosh,
That is a
4.5,
long
yeah.
time.
That's
I'm the
I'm so
longest
sorry.
standing.
that's long.
I hope you got a big trophy there.
Yes, I do. I deserve it.
Huge medal.
Yeah, we want to see the scars. Come on. No, I mean, honestly,
A younger Max, that's scary.
He's a great dancer. And, obviously you know what he's like in studio too. And you probably have an idea of what he's like working with Meryl as well. So
Sure, I'll go to the first question and then I'll
let's go to
carry on
Meryl
to
first
Max.
and then we'll go to Max because Max is on the judges. We've got that going on.
Honestly, I don't think nothing is better than to work with an Olympians. It's just unbelievable. I mean, at the point where I came in, they were already silver medalists and they were already a couple of times world champions. I mean, this is just as great as it gets. And they're literally like sponges. Any information you give them, and yes, it's not the same on the floor than it is on ice because you teach them certain elements and then you go on ice with them, and I don't skate at all, and how they transfer that into ice is just unbelievable. You're standing there and you're literally going, I have no idea how you just done that. Like,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
it's and they're very hard working. They're there every day from like 8 a.m. until I don't know how many hours. They work with their coaches. They have like 2 or 3 coaches, and then plus they invite people to work for a specialty dance, and it's quite amazing.
I think what I just wanted to add about Olympians is that I think some people don't realize that they're another breed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They are
Absolutely.
literally another breed to get to that level.
exactly.
Of sport.
Yes,
It's
you-
elite for a reason. It really
You
is.
put your sweat and blood into something that you absolutely love, and dedication and persistency. It's just amazing to work with those people.
All right.
Max got lucky. Let's put it this way.
He's got a great
And
partner.
I would say that he got lucky in a sense because Meryl would be someone he doesn't need to push to do things.
Yeah.
Because I think he gets frustrated with a lot of people like, oh, okay, I'm tired, or I can't do this, or things I can't, I want. He can't, he doesn't tolerate that.
Meryl's kind of sassy with him.
Yeah.
I love that she was
great.
giving it back.
Gives a bit of run for his money. You know
And
what
I
I'm
think
saying?
he's also different with her because for the first time he got somebody who is absolutely and totally capable. I mean, that lift that she did in the beginning of her routine, are you
All the
kidding
lifts.
me? Like,
They were great.
I would never be able to do that.
Okay, I mean, that swing dance was amazing. Tons of lifts, tons of content.
Yep.
And then you get down to the judges. Let's just get right down to that because I think we're all pretty much in agreement. I would think that we enjoyed this dance. Or did you?
I did enjoy it. I do have, yes, what were you going to ask?
I just was going to say the mistakes that they started to point out at the judging level. I went back and watched just to see what the mistakes were. I mean, it was like Meryl started a count ahead of Max at one point.
Yeah, but on her level, that's a big deal.
But it is. That's true. And she did catch up with them, though.
gotta
That's
remember-
also on her level.
Right,
Yeah?
but that's just we know who's being judged at higher levels.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So it's okay in my eyes. It's okay to point those things out because what else are you going to talk about? You can't talk about things that you would talk about with Billy D with her or whatever. I personally found it hilarious that Carrie-Anne and in his package. The Carrie-Anne pointed out, like, it's lovely to see him actually working hard. I loved that. I was dying. It was it was one of my favorite moments of the night.
So do you think it's well deserved?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. You mean like the comment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you don't think he
100%.
works hard?
What is Max
I
like in
think
studio?
he
That's what I'm asking, you know, because
I think he works hard. I'm sorry, really quick.
Yeah.
I think he's working harder than he has in many of the past Dancing with the Stars seasons.
But he also has a girl that can take it.
Yeah.
Right.
And gives him the passion to want to go for
Right.
that
Well, he
Mirrorball
had time
trophy.
away. He had time to think. Got hooked
He
up with the
matured.
right. Yeah, exactly. Had some
God, you
attitude
girls just go
adjustments.
too emotional and too deep. For goodness
You
sake.
know.
How hot-headed is Max? When you were working with him, was he hot-headed or is he just passionate? Is it just?
I think it's both. You know, obviously, you know, you have certain traits of the personality that you can't live without, and Max is very straightforward and yes, hot-headed into something that he is passionate about. He just, that's what I'm saying, he just doesn't really tolerate things like no, or you know, or I don't want to do it, or things like that, because he really wants to make it happen. So I mean, we worked. I can't deny the fact that we fought. Yes, we did, but the problem with that was because we were both strong-headed and we had our difference of opinion, and if you have a difference of opinion with just as strong of a person, this is when you clash. In a student-teacher situation, it's a little different because you don't really have your opinion. All he can do is push. They don't talk back. They can get upset and cry, you know.
Which has happened.
Talk back, and there's been
Yeah, but
prices to
not.
pay for it.
I meant not dance talk. They can't tell you like, oh no, but
Oh,
I don't
sure,
want to do
right.
it this way because I think it should be done this way, because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really
yeah.
don't have a knowledge of what those
They don't
things
have that vocabulary.
are. No.
So, I mean, they wound up with a 25, and Len gave him the 9, and he said Len's score is the one that matters, basically.
The important one.
I think there's couples going to the final.
Oh,
Just-
there's
yeah,
no
of
doubt.
course.
No
Yeah,
question.
that's not
100%.
even. Yeah.
We can probably call out the final,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we
now.
can just eliminate everybody right now.
All right.
Okay, week 3, we're getting rid of like 7.
Just
That's
joking.
more controversy than we already have. But before we move on to the next set of dances, I want to remind everyone, if you're watching us on YouTube, we sure appreciate it. But don't forget, you can also download us on iTunes. You can rate us 5 stars. We love that. Put your comments in. We absolutely appreciate all of your feedback, both good and bad. And let us know what you'd like to see the rest of the season. Those are our 5s. Moving right along to dances 5 through 8. And this is where I start getting really annoyed at Dancing with the Stars. Producers, I'm talking to you, Conrad Green. I'm throwing it down. That's it. Eliminated Diana and Henry right away, and then she doesn't know if she's going to dance, and then they're like, oh, of course you're dancing. What the heck?
This was the most
I don't
effed
get
up
it.
moment
Yeah.
I've seen since watching the show.
This
honestly,
was rude. It was rude.
Wrong. It was wrong.
But
Dead wrong. I'm so
disrespectful.
glad that you called it out. I'm sure you have many million comments about it, but I want to touch on Diana was talking earlier in the week about I cried again when I read this. I was literally like, really?
It was just a wreck.
I
Right?
was a wreck, I guess.
Emotional roller coaster. What's going on?
Hashtag emotional Suri.
I don't know. But she sobbed her eyes out after last week's show because she felt so matronly in her costume, and that upset me to my core. And I know that sounds silly, but it's like we talk about the wardrobe department being so incredible. They are so amazing at what they do.
Yeah.
And really, like, to have her feel the way that she felt and cry herself to sleep and just really
She had a
upset
sexy
me.
red dress this week with showing
She
some
did.
leg.
Yeah.
She
She
did. And yes,
great.
and absolutely.
Much better.
But yes, going back to what you brought up, I think it was totally wrong of the show to do that. Like, that is so messed up. She handled herself really well.
They both did.
They both did.
they both
Henry
did.
had the biggest smile on his face, and I was like, that is going to be one of the hardest smiles to do.
I think she did well because she has that sportsmanship. So if it would have been anybody else, it could have been a big disaster because we don't ever, like, okay, we compete and we get 1st through 6th. You get your 6th place. And they used to have open marks. So you dance, and
see.
they pick up the
I hated
marks.
that.
And you have to dance the next one afterwards. So if you're suddenly getting the marks and you're losing to somebody that you never did before, your dancing just goes.
And you dance past that
Yes.
judge, they just gave you like a 6. And you're like, you bastard.
So it was the worst thing ever. So I can imagine, how it feels. We've been there. But it's just, if it would have not been her and it would be somebody else, like, I can't imagine dancing up. Oh, yeah, you eliminated. By the way, you're going to dance? What if she said no?
It was cruel.
I want
yeah.
to say no.
all that work and not get to
That's-
perform.
That's what
I don't like, because everyone works so hard in those studios, hours and hours, and energy, and for Henry to choreograph and to make it right for her and look after her the whole week and make her feel comfortable, plus the dress, plus this, plus that. People don't realize all the things that go into it.
Yeah.
And just to say, you're out, thanks so much, see ya. It's like, what?
And this happened last season on So You Think You Can Dance, where they eliminated the dancers at the front of the show, and the fan outcry was huge. And Nigel Lythgoe, and I love this about him because he's always open to criticism, and he's very like, you know what, this was wrong, and we're changing it. And they finally
Yes, they
moved it
did,
back
yes.
to the end of the show that the following week. Dancing with the Stars, your move.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Something might have happened. I don't know. Something might have not
So cruel.
went correct with that, because it seemed a little
Maybe
bit
they should have danced
awkward.
and then they should have announced.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
If miscommunication, maybe something went up. I don't know.
It didn't need to be that way.
It didn't.
It just didn't.
It didn't, and she did great, and she looked amazing doing her cha-cha, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that she went out on a good performance, too. I mean, I think that's the only thing you can hope for in situations like that.
Yeah.
But it was
That wasn't
rough.
very nice.
Then we move on to Candace and Mark doing the rumba. And I want to talk, before we get into all of this, I want to talk at the beginning. Was it a rumba? But I also...
You should start talking.
Let me.
Yeah.
Let me.
You start,
Just let me, please.
Zawaj.
Please, let me.
Zawaj.
Okay, first of all, the song was a beautiful, beautiful Viennese waltz.
Viennese waltz. I was saying that same thing.
Hallelujah. So the song was a Viennese waltz.
What?
So as a professional, you get a song that is a Viennese waltz, and we've been there.
I've just choreographed a show to it for Viennese.
Hey guys, this is a Viennese waltz. Could we get a proper 4-count measure rumba? No, you can't. This is a song you have to use. That's the conversation. Okay, that's the song your celebrity likes, whatever. They don't know any difference between, sometimes they do, but usually they don't. They're like, oh, it's a pretty slow song, must be a rumba. No. So then what do you do as a professional? And then they call it out, as a judge. Judges go, well, this wasn't really a rumba. Of course it wasn't really a rumba.
Where's
It
the
was
count?
a waltz.
Exactly. None of them
How-
commented on the fact that I appreciate your efforts for trying to make it rumba,
Yeah.
but
Was it really contemporary? Yes, it was. It was kind of like continuation of watching week 1. It's like in week 1, they were together and they were exploring the world. And then week 2, he was leaving her and she was like really upset. It's like,
still
What
exploring
else-
the world.
yeah.
What else was he meant to do? That's what I would like.
But
It's
that's
not
right.
easy. It's like he put rumba elements in there. Yeah, it was great, and some contemporary bits and pieces. Because that song, if it's not a Viennese, it's a great contemporary piece.
Beautiful
It's
contemporary
like saying,
piece.
okay, here's a rumba. It's gonna be to jive. It's like it just didn't. It's hard to make that work.
Yeah.
Good
There
point.
you
I mean,
go.
I wrote down song choice because I was like, question mark? I just didn't get it. What did you think, Suri?
I didn't look at it from that. That's an incredible point of view.
Yep.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Her emotion's great. She's connected.
Very connected.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like watching her.
Very
I will
involved.
say that.
Very
I really
involved.
enjoy watching her.
I like her a lot, her personality. And here's the one thing I kind of want to touch upon, because she talks a lot about her faith and wanting to cover up. She looked very sexy in that like little, because it was like the sheer skirt, and I mean her boobs were covered up, but she's sexy.
Yeah.
Wait, can you talk about? Because a lot of Mormons dance. It's ballroom. Let's talk about
Christian,
that.
though.
Faith and dancing, but where's the line and something like that?
They have a certain rules in Utah of what you can and cannot open, but they're still pretty sexy. Latin dress, a Latin dress.
Yeah. When you're trying to portray, like, let's just face it, all dancing is sexual. I mean, unless it's like father-daughter at the wedding dance. You know what I mean? Then that's like, no, it's just a dance.
Family
But
love.
but if we're talking about a male and a female, and a lot of our dancer friends are homosexual male, but then when they dance and they dance with a woman, you would never be able to tell. It's still, you go, there must be something going on in there. Like, no, he's gay, but that's okay.
Or everyone gets together.
Right? It's
They're either are doing it or they're not doing it.
The chemistry is a very, very important part of dancing. And whatever you best friends are off the dance floor, whatever you have relationship, whatever you hate each other, it doesn't matter, because that chemistry, that romance, that sexuality in some dances that is more than another, it's just part of the deal. Like, you have to you have to portray that. So, and I like how she commented that this is going to be more sensual, it's going to be more soft, because it was still kind of sexy, because she said, I'm a sexual woman. So it was not about her being sexy per se with Mark, but it was her being sexy.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
I do too. I know it's going to come up again as we have other dances, so I just wanted to see what everyone's thought was on all of that. But 21 was the score. Was it too low, or were they, penalizing them for having a song that wasn't a rumba song? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could have been maybe a 1-8.
Well, none of them are commented on it, but it wasn't just right.
It just wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fit.
That's
All right.
a hard one.
Moving on to Amy and Derek doing the swing. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So amazed, Suri.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin.
Did you cry
Were
on
you
that
emotional
one?
again? Yeah.
Yes, because
She
I
did.
totally did.
Crying.
Hashtag Suri tears.
I mean, I didn't tell my eyes. I'm more in awe watching them.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't even have enough words to express what I think of her. And how
I think
incredible.
it's so hard to describe, because I can't even imagine being in her shoes, if I could say that. Because and just the passion for life that she has, and then just move on and do things like it's just I think there's so many people that give up in those situations, and she's another type of a breed, plus the Olympian, plus with the disabilities.
Yeah, and her quote was, "It's not what you have, not what you don't have, it's what you give."
Oh, here you go.
That's perfection.
Boom.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Perfection.
So it's also hard to judge her, because it's not just dancing, it's the package for her. So you kind of still have that emotional attachment to who she is. And I mean, if she would have had legs, she would have probably be even better. I mean, it's ridiculous
Oh,
what
but the
she
dancing's
does.
good.
Yeah,
Dancing's-
it's ridiculous.
I love
doing
that she's
great.
working on leg separation, which is really hard for her to work on because of
I'm a huge, like, when I judge, I'm all about the feet. I'm like very much legs and feet, legs and feet. She's with whatever she has. Her feet looks better than some of the people that have
I
legs.
agree with you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I
It's
totally agree with
amazing.
you. And wardrobe-wise, too, I love what they've been doing with her, because it's not a distraction either. You're not like trying to look and see what's happening and things like that.
And choreographically, sorry, I thought
go.
everything was really, Derek just did
Spot
awesome job. The opening, the curtain thing, the whole bits and pieces, the lighting. I love they were just on that, the little stage at the back there. Everything worked really well, and she just sells it. She sells it, and she looks so comfortable. And I don't know if that's comfortable, but she looks comfortable and sassy and sexy, like she's giving it.
And she's so hot for 34.
She's so hot, no matter what.
I feel there's an
matter what.
inside joke
Hashtag
there.
last week comment.
Last week, yes.
I
Didn't know
just
the
thought
age
she was like
shocked.
22, and I didn't mean anything by 34, but I just couldn't believe that she was.
She doesn't look a day over 25, honestly.
I do want to make a quick comment. I watched the show last night with a friend of mine who knows no history of Dancing with the Stars, nothing of anybody or anything. And it was interesting to hear his perspective after he watched Amy and Derek.
Oh, he?
It was really Anna.
Suri had a date.
Really?
And how did that end up?
Oh Lord!
With this
Champagne, red wine.
kisses.
That's why you were so
one glass, one bottle.
Oh my gosh!
We're totally moving into a different
Okay, we are
conversation.
definitely going on. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Anyway, he made the comment after watching Amy and Derek dance that here's a choreographer who has, challenges to work with around, and how incredible that he took it on. He takes it on with such positive energy, and it excites him and it motivates him. And this is not from me in any way, shape, or form, or my comments.
It's from Suri's date.
It's from my friend.
We'll find you.
And he said, well, and then you have that guy that's complaining about having to work so hard and throw around Meryl all over the stage, and he's having to work hard for the first time, and that's what's his take on the whole thing. But I just found that a little bit interesting.
Yeah, different personalities.
Different,
Definitely.
yeah, people's different takes on things.
24 was her score, 8s across the board.
Yeah.
And really nice.
Great.
Well deserved.
Well
Definitely.
done. And
Amazing.
I just want to say she's got star quality. She's going to go on to something even bigger beyond this. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's going to stick with, keep on with snowboarding or whatever, but if she wants to go beyond that, she certainly can, I think.
Yes, agree.
Yes. All right. On to James and Peta doing the salsa. Holy hotness.
Well, we knew we were gonna get that.
We knew we were going to get
Come on.
Peta. I
That's
love
not
her
a
hair, by
surprise.
the way. I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's
it
cute.
looks really
It
cute.
was braided up the back, right underneath. Did you see that?
Yeah, you can see it.
it's cute.
Looked really good. But what did we think of the salsa?
I thought they nailed that.
Yeah.
I thought the tricks, the salsa content, there was at least some salsa in there, which was great. That was good to see. We started seeing a little bit more of James coming out,
Thank
smiling,
you.
playing, and
Thank you,
a little
James.
bit of touching going on.
The
there.
kneeling
Kneeling,
and fawning on her. I was like,
come on. Got a little bit lost energy towards the end, but that was a full-on routine, and the stress of nailing those lifts is enough. And then plus to remember the steps and everything on top. So the energy level for me dropped a little bit. And a couple of bits and pieces could have been tighter, but generally I thought it was a fan-freaking-tastic salsa. Thank you.
I have a question for you all. There was
Yeah.
a comment made. Oh my gosh. I don't know where that's coming from. Anyway, there was comments made about Peta always doing the same type of choreography. Do you find that to be true?
I find that's actually with all the pros, because if you take a dress by Cavalli, you will recognize it's Cavalli or Chanel. They make the same stuff for the last 50 years. You know it's Chanel.
Massimo.
Right.
So and it's a great thing because that's their brand. That's how you recognize them. Even the best choreographers in the world,
Fosse.
you will know it's their choreography. So
Right.
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong, yeah.
Just wanted to know
This
what
is
you
your
guys thought.
trend. This is what you do. People
Correct.
tend to do what they are the best at because
Yep.
at the end of the day, she needs to dance that. So, and you
And
sell it.
also there are some steps that are typically easier to teach the celebrities when you only
Non-dancers.
have 6 days or 5 days. You got to get the routine down. We can't go into the full-on open stuff sometimes. So you need to use those steps again.
And she packed that routine. I thought that was ambitious for week 2, and I thought he did a nice job with it. He pushed himself as well.
I thought it was a really great salsa. Now, last week's comment that I gave to James, and I got a bit of a backlash there on Twitter, saying that he looks like Brent.
We thought it was hilarious.
Sorry. I thought this week he really stood out. I thought he started to wear his own shoes, and he brought up the energy. Now, gotta bring more. You. This is good. This is probably his 100%, but he has to bring 200% because as a person, he's kind of that softer quality guy. I feel he's not rah in your face. He's much more cool and subdued. Yeah. So he has to work every single week to bring it out, and it has to feel to him like he's way overdoing it, which he probably felt for salsa. But that was I thought spot on.
Yeah, and 988 for a score of 25.
Could have been 3 9s, but hey. Well, look
Well-
at Cody and Whitney getting 3 7s.
Yeah,
No, they
Let's-
got
we're,
2 sevens in it.
Oh, sorry.
we're
2
getting
7s and an 8.
Getting there.
we're getting there. We got to go into Charlie and Sharna
Yay.
doing the tango. Let's talk about Charlie. who has the most beautiful hair that I want to run my fingers through. It's so floppy and cute.
I actually know it from him that he likes it short.
He likes his hair
because
short.
he cuts his hair short between the seasons, and then he lets it grow.
Ice dancers always have it that floppy flowing in the breeze.
Yeah, it
looks
flops around.
sexy.
And this
Breeze.
is, yeah,
Look
this
at
is
you
like,
over there, Kristen.
It's not
flowing.
floppy hair. Yeah, he's not my type of guy. If you know the type of guy I date,
But I think
he's really
in his,
cute. He's
in
like
his
Disney prince.
circle, he is kind of known for his blonde, curvy hair, and it's just his kind of trademark. But I might say, and sorry, Meryl, I love you dearly, but I think he's my favorite for this season.
You're not alone.
No.
You are not alone.
He is. He's just such a sweetheart, and you know, he just, I don't know. That's my thing.
He's very.
We said
I have a soft spot.
Well, we did say last week that they were the couple to watch because you got the strength of Sharna and Charlie, and I think you know, as competitive as Meryl and Max are too. I just feel like right now in week 2 they still have the edge.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Best performance of the night for me.
Really?
Best performance of the night. For me, I look at like the theatrics of overall performance. Correct. I thought it was funny. They brought in, you know, some help to help him work on
Max
his
running the bad boy.
bad boy. I loved it. You didn't love it? Nah. Okay.
It wasn't my favorite either.
My favorite.
I didn't buy the bad boy thing as much. I think that's what.
Regardless of the package, the dancing I thought was great.
Dancing was great.
I thought the routine, Sharna whacked together great. I thought everything mixing together really nicely. He did some right lunges, fall-away slip pivots. He did a lot of content in there again.
Yes, she packed
which
it.
is good.
What about breaking hold? What did we think about that? That was
I
a
didn't
comment.
mind that.
I
And
honestly think they should get over it.
Yeah.
come on.
What else were they going to pick on him for, though? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What
They got
else
nothing
are they
else.
going to say?
Care. I mean,
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's true.
I do want to give him a bit of a comment again. Me with my comments
for
for
it.
one of the best celebrities on the show this season. When he because of he's used to ice, and when he does, I'll speak professional lingua, fall away whisks. He needs to be careful and bring his free leg through under his body, and not just flop it around. Because when he just flops it around with the ice movement, I would assume that it gives extra momentum for the turn. With the floor, it doesn't really do that. It's better when you keep your legs under you tighter and then work more this way versus this way.
That's
But do you
probably-
notice how we get more critical to people that are more
Yes.
Sure.
Able to.
course.
because they
What else
are
are you gonna
doing
do?
already things so
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
that you're like, oh, but you
We're
gotta
nitpicking.
also do
I-
this.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
bet that's just habit. Years and years and years
True.
of doing
Yeah.
that with
Yeah.
the leg.
Yeah.
Right?
The better you
course.
are, the more critical we are.
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We are, and I
how
think
we
we're also
are.
harder on the pros on that too, because then we're looking more at the content and what they're giving and what they're delivering. And you know, some of the fans I know that have their favorite pros, whether it's Derek or Max or anything, they're like, "You're so hard on them." I'm like, "But we're nitpicking because they have the contestants this
Yeah.
season that are up here." And
I did
all it is.
I love her dress. Can I just say
Beautiful.
that? That was
She
my
looked-
favorite
Beautiful.
dress.
She looked hot.
amazing.
She looked hot for 20. No, I'm not going to go there.
Sharna does a fantastic job with costuming and overall concept
Package.
of
Yeah.
routines.
She's
I
got a-
think as a couple, they're great. They're like fire and ice.
Yes.
You know, he is
The yin
so
and the yang
sweet
that carry
and
on.
bubbly, and she's like, whoa.
Yes. This was a weird score because it was 9-7-9. So Len obviously
That's
dinged
just
them for the
silly.
holds. Yeah, 25. Let's move on to Nene and Tony doing the jive. She chose this because it's her husband's dance. They wanted to dance together. Suri, you're chomping at the bit. Go.
Am I?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you the number one thing that bothered me from that routine was her shoes and feet.
Why was she wearing?
I
flats?
actually texted. I was like, hello, why did you put her in flats? Because I don't understand.
Should be taller than them, though.
Yeah.
So that's why it
Probably
should be taller than
but
harder
them.
you know
to
what, looking
jump
back-
in
Yes.
heels.
No, and I knew why. Because, I mean, he looked, let me say that previous partners, he puts them in flats, too, for the jive. So, I mean, I don't know if you do, or, well, it's
There's
me, but I
there's
don't know
a
what I'm
trend
saying.
for swing. For swing, they dance in those shoes,
And
but
Meryl was
not
in
really,
flat, yeah.
not
Yeah.
really for jive.
It just, the feet stood out for me. It was just, but overall, I like this routine better
it's
than
because
last week's
they
routine.
were pink and
Correct.
shiny.
They were pretty.
No,
You
they're
could
just,
see them.
Oh, what did we think about content? Because I feel like Nene can do some stuff, and is she being given what she can do?
Tony says he's giving her as much as she can handle.
Okay.
As far as I know.
I think he does. I think he does give her what she can handle, because I could even see her energy in the rehearsal room that she was like, oh my gosh, like she was, he was like, did you just, do you know what you just did? And she kind of had that blank face.
Where you absorb too much. Yeah.
And he's like, okay. So he has to, again, that's that fine line. And Tony done this for years and years and years. And, he's a great teacher like that, where he knows, okay, that's going to be too much. And I'd rather her be comfortable and sell it than
not stuff it up,
overstuff it with things, and then she would freak out. So
and he knows, and we know she's going to sell the heck out of that, which is great about Nene.
Sure. Tony does get criticized, as far as what I hear from Dancing with the Stars, for too simple of a choreography. But again, for me, that's what makes a better teacher, because you teach them how to really dance the elements. And yes, sometimes maybe you need to spice it up with a couple of things throughout the routine.
But I thought he did.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, when I watch that choreography, that's a great combination for me of, simple enough, but
And you're looking at a big personality on that floor as well. If you do too much choreography and too much complicated stuff, plus with her expressions and all her energy and sassiness, everything else, it's going to be just like a train wreck. So Tony has to be really clever with how he balances all those elements. And when you're in that studio, it's a very different feeling to rehearsing than when you get on the floor with everyone in there, lights, camera, action, and boom, you can go blank. So you've got to remember that.
The adrenaline rush overall. 21 sevens. This is more of the sevens.
Are we not going to talk about the jive arms?
we want to talk about the arms with Carrie Ann and Abba.
Jive arms.
What did we think?
I'm not a fan of jive arms like that, personally. I feel if you have an opportunity to stretch your limbs and fill up the whole room, take it. If you have a chance to sell. Like, this is underselling. This is like, well, I kind of want you to like me, but maybe not. Like, sell it.
Do it.
What do you think?
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's different from each person. Like, you could take some dancer that would look good doing that and some that doesn't. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I found it funny watching his facial reactions.
He was not happy.
He was so pissed. It was so funny.
That might have been hard for her to coordinate those arms as
then
well.
He said, he told me last night after the show, he's like, I wasn't going to stand there and take that because I know that was correct. That the arms were correct. And I wouldn't, it was just, I'm not going to stand there and have them say something that's inaccurate.
And then she could focus on the feet and what she needed to do.
Right.
Tony is always very politically correct. Like, I love him dearly for that. He has always the positive way of saying people to something, even if it's criticizing. And there's just a lot of things to learn from him. When I danced, I always listen to him teach, and I'm like, wow, I would have never think to say it that way.
Like that.
But Tony, he would talk back if he's actually really pissed.
Which is fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough. So you should.
So you gotta really get him there in order for him to just lash out on
That's why I
national
found
TV.
it funny. Because he's speaking the truth.
Pushed his button.
We gotta go to another hot topic because we're running out of time. But Sean and Karina doing salsa, the other eliminated couple of the night, and there's so much to talk about with all of this. But just to go back to some of the controversy, he was very upset about his package the first week. They felt it made him look like a bad guy. He allegedly, or he said in an interview, he went to Conrad Green and spoke about it. And then on Good Morning America today, he said, if you piss the producers off, you go.
He said that today?
Today on Good Morning America.
Yeah,
he implied it, but it's very clearly implied. It's not a very gray area. I do want to say that none of us predicted that Sean would go home this week. But I want to note that, and I don't know if you guys got the same feedback, but from the fans, a lot of people were put off by his package last week, and a lot of people were like, he's going to leave. He's going to be gone this week. A lot of people predicted it. So then when he was eliminated, I wasn't all that surprised. So...
Well, he's not, he's... I relate in the sense that I don't walk around with a smile on my face 24 hours a day. So I found it interesting. It's like, he's not Disney. You know?
Correct.
But
It's much more raw.
Much
like
more
we
raw.
said.
This week, there was a lot more smiling. You could see, you felt more of him.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I liked his dance.
Loved it.
I did,
I really did.
Yeah,
I'm really disappointed that he's gone.
I think he had a few more weeks in him.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. I thought so too.
Like Karina said, I wish you would have seen the different sides to him, because here was this like a raw diamond, right? A raw stone that could have turned into a diamond or ruby or emerald or whatever it is. But like right now, it looked a bit like a coal.
And Karina could have done it. We know
Oh,
that
absolutely.
for sure.
She was the one
It was
to
slowly
do it.
developing, definitely.
Right.
And he was trying. I thought he was really trying this week as well. And
He's a hockey player, remember?
Yeah,
Like, that
I
is
mean,
like
he's
old
tough as
school,
freaking nails.
like machoism in the locker room.
Totally. And any hockey player
shame.
that throws a switch leap in the routine week 1 has my vote. I mean,
Yeah.
What do you
They
think?
have, there on that show is typically there's a lot of TV personality, whether they're actors or they're, TV
Hosts,
hosts
whatever.
or they're doing anything with the entertainment industry. So when you take somebody who plays hockey,
Yeah, in a mask.
they're not gonna go, ooh, look at me.
Yeah, true.
It's not their trend. It's just this is what they are, and I think people should really take it as why is that bad? Why is that bad?
It was nice to see someone different.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Different, completely different personality.
Yeah.
And hardcore sportsman. And,
Exactly.
it was nice to see these different people. That's what I enjoyed. And it was a shame that you
I
weren't
can
there. Sorry
see
about
how
that.
people could assume that his package was not good, but I don't know. I watched it and I actually liked it. And I thought it was different.
Yeah.
So I,
Kind of refreshing from what
Yeah.
we saw.
his whole salary is going to charity.
Yeah, that's another
that.
good
Are you
point.
serious?
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
What
all to
ch-
charity.
What charity?
I don't know. I read it once and
Yeah, but he mentioned it a couple times last
did.
night on air
Cool.
too, and he mentioned it again on Good Morning America, and he was like, I'm glad I could do something good. So
glad that you brought that up, by the way, the interview.
I
with the,
wish
meeting
it
with the
was
producers.
out there, like bigger, because people could have voted for him just for the fact that the longer they stay, the more money they make.
Yeah.
It could have been something big.
it would have been a nice message, maybe had we heard that early on. And I know Karina all week has been talking about, he was worried about me. I live farther out from the studio. He made sure, like the night before, we had like run through that I stayed somewhere closer to the studio, and it just very thoughtful
Yes.
all the time. And so we didn't get to see that, so it's unfortunate. But 21, he's gone, unfortunately. But we move on to the youngest couple on the show, Whitney and Cody, doing the tango.
Ken and Barbie.
Ken and Barbie, they're so cute. I do want to say one thing, and just this whole, because Cody has worked tremendously with Justin Bieber. He's opened for him. And I'm like, it's kind of nice to see like Zendaya and Cody, just hard workers, good role models. And remember, he's 17. And I just say
Yeah.
it's very refreshing. That's all I want to say about that. Suri, what did you think of the dance?
I enjoyed it. I don't know. It was tango, right?
Tango.
Yeah,
Yeah.
supposed to be tango.
With some moonwalking.
The moonwalk was definitely a
Oh,
highlight.
awesome.
That was
For
cool.
sure. Very, very cool. I don't know how I felt about the lights. I get it. It was young, fresh kind
They
of thing,
didn't
but it's
use
kinda
that to the full
overdone.
I love
advantage.
the lights. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
It is cute. It just
It could have been better though. I thought they
The
could have.
lights?
Yeah, they could have like made, because it started off and there was already light going on. If it was pitch black and then all we saw was them light up, then some softer light come in, then into the line. But
Oh,
boom,
you're talking about like
the way they used
lighting.
it, the way they used the lights in the costume, I thought could have been done a lot more dramatically.
makes sense.
Right.
Dramatic, like the way they did it. It was a shame because I love lights. Like
love
you
it.
should see, I'm the only one in New Zealand who decorates their house for Christmas.
I think the idea was great, kind of that
no idea.
futuristic tango.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
moonwalks were cool in it. I guess talking 24 versus 34, if you were the teacher, and I'm sorry, I'm going to criticize a little bit. I think
I think she's 20.
She's
that's
20.
what
yeah.
I'm saying. I
She's
don't
so
know
young.
her age
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
but if you would have teach her, his posture would have been 20
Don't
Right,
get
that's tough.
this
That
up.
is the only thing that bugged me, because I think he's so talented
So
and
talented.
so capable.
Hardworking
He could
too.
have been so great. And this
Hunchback
whole
of Notre
thing,
Dame.
it killed it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell Carrie Ann felt
Killed it
bad
for
about
me.
calling her out on that and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's just it would be nice to see her with a taller person." Remember? Did you see her look? And she was like, "Oh,
And I think it's totally up to her. She can make that happen. I mean, it's not really that difficult, especially to the person who can dance.
Correct.
Yeah, and who's 17? I mean, it's not like he has arthritis in his back.
He's
No.
young and he can handle it.
Do you know what I mean?
It's also Whitney's first season as pro. She's going to have to learn to assert her authority in
Yep.
the rehearsal room, and that's going to come through the season.
And can't the pros help her with that? I mean, aren't you guys are all they're a team there?
That's
you know,
it, if she
family.
asks.
It's like,
mean, yeah.
Exactly. It's
If she
up to
asks.
people.
I mean, there is help being given, but just it's not all 24/7 maybe.
No.
In the frame it wasn't quite
But
right,
yeah,
and there's spacing and
Like you said, I'm sure throughout the season now, like next time he gets a ballroom dance, she's going to be much more on his case because that was a very clear message from the judges. Like, he needs to do it.
And James brought it on this week, and they're playing up that rivalry. So
Yes.
I can see that switch up happening.
they are.
yeah.
That switch up might be
Between
kind of
them.
interesting if you do the PETA
Yeah,
Whitney switch.
that's what I think.
I don't know what Cody would do with Peter, though.
I
He'd probably stand there and drool.
Oh my God. He might be a bit like frozen and like, what do I do?
Two Aussies, or Kiwi Aussie.
They wound up with a 22, so it was 7, 7, 8. I think that was pretty much in line with.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was all right.
So just a couple notes for the next couple weeks. We do have some guest judges coming in. Next week, it's Robin Roberts from Good Morning America as the guest judge.
Oh.
2 weeks from now is Julianne Hough. And then Ricky Martin supposedly is coming in.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Red Foo from LMFAO is coming in.
He's awesome. Now. He's in the Aussie. He's in a show in Australia that I've seen, and he is so much fun. And he's got some awesome stuff to say. Yeah, not on dancing, but on, I think, don't quote me, The Voice or X Factor, one of these ones.
All right.
He's cool.
So they're bringing in, mixing it up. Hopefully it works out. Sometimes on So You Think You Can Dance, when they bring in people that aren't dancers per se, it doesn't work out so well. We've seen that happen before. Zoe Deschanel.
I'd like to be in the room when they're deciding who they want as guest judges. Like, I mean, just the names that are thrown out there would be kind of entertaining,
and
I think.
what's being promoted, because I'm sure everyone has something being promoted right about now.
Yeah.
So that's
Fergie would have been great.
Fergie would be really
fun.
All right, let's we want to mention, because I don't want to forget this, you've got a studio opening up here in Los Angeles next week. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, next week we have a grand opening. It's studio in Sherman Oaks called LA Ballroom Studio. So you can check out the website, laballroomstudio.com. So we're going to have a grand opening on Monday after Dancing with the Stars. So we hopefully some of my friends will show up. We'll have some red carpet event.
Yeah, sweet.
Awesome.
Gleb is teaching there too. We had him last week.
Yes, I actually had Louis teaching there, Gleb teaching there. So I hope invite more people for a seminar so that our students could get actually a hold of some of the Dancing with the Stars people, take classes with them. You know, it's makes it fun for them because they watch it on TV, but they don't ever see them if they don't go. And even being at the live show, it's not the same as taking somebody's hand and you've been fan for such a long time, and you see those women, they literally go, ah.
They melt.
All those handsome men. I love it.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to provide that for our students in the studio, and you know. Everybody's welcome. Please coming in Monday 31st at 8:30. You can check all the information laballroomstudio.com.
Fantastic. And a beautiful baby boy, your baby boy Magnus, you were showing us photos. I think we're going to arrange a marriage here.
We already Instagrammed.
They've
the whole
Instagrammed the
pictures.
Instaframe. It was
start some lessons next week. We'll get them on the floor.
Before we wrap up, let's make predictions on who you think is going home next week.
Don't start with me. Let's start with me.
I'm going to start with Suri this week.
Oh, of course. You went to me a lot today. I think it's going to be Billy D.
Yeah. Anna.
Yeah, Billy D.
I agree with Billy. How about you?
I mean, dance-wise, it has to be. I don't know, but...
Yeah.
Jules?
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement on that one. I don't think, because this level this year of dancing is just so much higher than other seasons. I don't think it's gonna be hard for him to stick around as much as I love him.
He's got that big fan base.
He does have that big fan base, and Emma. I think a lot of people also really love Emma and the big heart she has. I think a lot of people gravitate. So never, ever, ever rule it out. Ever.
For sure.
All right, we will be back next week, week 3. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. Oh, we've got Paul from So You Think You Can Dance Season 10 coming in. Fun. He was one of the ballroom contestants last season, top 10. So we're looking forward to having him give his expertise, and you'll all be back as well.
I'll be back on time.
Thank you. Yeah, he'll be here 1 minute in 20 minutes. All right, you guys, thanks so much. We'll see y'all next week here at AfterBuzz.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.